sounds and breakdowns.
Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. It is 2024, the first day of 2024, and it would not be right if we start off the year with not another. I don't know what I'm saying right now, and we haven't even started. But yeah, today we have the team, everybody who got through 2023 together with. But we got NoiseROT today in the house. What up?
What up?
What up?
Making
Hold on.
it, man.
I wasn't prepared, but hold on, it's quick.
Yeah,
hell yeah, we out here, and we're gonna start off by taking a little shot. Cheers!
Let's go.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
Right.
The cap just flew off of your soda. That's not bad. It's not. It's got that flavor in it. It's actually not.
If you put it with like,
It's the tamarindo one.
could you imagine putting that with the tamarindo, the jarrito soda, and some like chamoy around the rim?
Yeah.
Dangerous.
It's that. It's for
That's a
us.
summer pool party.
It's dangerous for us because we're brown, dude. We love that shit.
Yeah, literally.
Eat that shit up. And, dude, Sierra's got a little brown in her sometimes. But no, I mean just like she likes all that shit.
He's one shot in.
But she likes a lot of that shit. I told you, like, we went to San Antonio to see the main, and we took that bottle, underestimated it, like, and we're just like, we took a shot just like that, maybe, and then I made a drink, and then like they didn't have cups, so I was using like the coffee mugs that the coffee cups that they give you in the hotel. But I was drinking it with the lid on too. I don't know. I put the lid, but I'm like, it feels like I'm not drinking. Like,
That's straight up like as close as like the candies you get from like the Michoacana or whatever
Yeah.
as possible. I cannot imagine like actually dressing that drink up and then expecting to not find out. After
no,
you fuck
yeah.
around.
The dangerous part was that the venue was in walking distance from the hotel. So we're like, we're not driving. I'm like, I'm not driving anywhere. And I took another like drink on like the road, and I think we took a shot before we left. And I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And I got there, I'm like, I'm still feeling pretty good. And then like they're like, I'm gonna get a drink while we're waiting. And I just get like a White Claw or something. Remember the first two bands? They were great. The whole reason we were there, literally like the main is Sierra's favorite band. And I'm just like, the next day, I'm like, I'm really sorry. I do not remember that.
Damn. Really?
Like, just that band completely. Because I remember the first band, I can't remember their name, but the second band was called Floor, which are really good. You actually will probably really like Floor. But yeah, and I was like, at the beginning, I was like, oh, I'm going to make connections, like, not internationally, like, but out of the city.
Yeah. I'm going to go, yeah.
And I walked up to like the first table, they weren't there. I'm like, I'll be good. And I woke up, I'm like, I really hope I didn't talk to anybody. And I like check, like, do I still have business cards? Because I don't want to.
They're all gone.
Yeah, this NoiseROT fucker was drunk as shit.
Just at the bar, just,
Here you go. I'll make you a style.
They said we met Mr. Podcast Man. What a fucking creature. What a creature.
The funny thing is that people like have like said that to me out in public now. Like people that I don't know, and it's funny. It is pretty funny. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Should have wore the shirt.
Oh yeah, the shirt was pretty.
You should just keep it hung up.
The shirt was. I'm gonna get one of those like
In the
when you
shadow
retire
box?
jerseys and shit. Put that up.
Little casing.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Y'all think I'm like playing when that Michaels discount hits in the email? That's what I'm We're buying the shadow box to put that up.
Hell yeah, it's gonna be up here. Legendary, man. We've been doing it. Doing it 90. This is 92 episodes. Last year we did 40. What is that? 48 to 91. What's that? 50?
A little
Or 49?
49, yeah.
I think that's 49. I almost hit 50. Yeah.
A.
Yeah, we started off like, and it was like with some breaks and stuff like that, but we were doing like two a days, like sometimes.
Yeah.
Which was fun,
Damn,
but it's also like a
100?
lot. Huh?
That means you could have done like 100 in the year if you were still doing.
If I would have passed it. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because that was the plan. We were trying to plan something fun for the 100th episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I think keeping a one every week is possible. You know what I mean? It's not out of the ordinary. And that way, like, it allows for like some breaks here and there. But yeah, man, we made it through another year. We're entering our third year of NoiseROT, which is fucking exciting as shit.
Feels unreal. It doesn't even feel like we're entering the third year yet. Like, it's
Yeah.
gone by so quickly with just, like, every obstacle. I feel like whenever we come across the next one, it's just like, wait a minute. fucking 2 years have gone by.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it's like our 4th year. I'm like, no, it's just our 2nd year. Yeah, it's like, or we've completed 2 years. We're in our 3rd year.
We're
now.
starting our 3rd year, and it's just, I think it's just because we've learned a lot so quickly,
Yeah.
like
I think so.
of all aspects. Like there's a lot of stuff that we've like dealt with, just like with managing bands, with like trying to do external content, stuff like that, and just
And
things that it
better
takes.
at it.
Yeah, it takes that. It's I always bring back something that I spoke to like Dizzy from Arrow, which was like, he's like, oh, it takes a little. You have to take a step back to really notice like what you're actually accomplishing, and like when I was looking through the videos like to make like that little recap the other day, and I'm like, holy shit, we did like this many.
Yeah.
Like I literally like had so many, because I don't delete anything off my phone, so I just had
same.
so many fucking things like in there. I'm like, holy shit, and it shows that we were like, oh yeah, we did do that show, which feels like it was a few years ago, but it was
Way
this
back, yeah,
year.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The like reel he made yesterday, where it posted all of our shows this year, I was like, "Holy shit! I forgot
The flyers,
we even
I
did
like
those
it kept
shows.
going, and I'm like,
Like,
Some
we've
of
done
there's a lot in here.
Some of them that went by, I was like, "Holy crap! I forgot about that show."
Yeah,
like just
yeah.
in general, it's been such a busy year, but it's been I feel like a good year. Too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
what are
Like-
some that you like kind of like remember the most?
I like the steak sauce mustache show that we
Was that
did
this
at
year?
Real Close. That
The
was this
cleanup
year.
Holy
song,
shit.
man.
The Maximum Overwipe tour. That shit was
Dude.
the cleanup song.
Yes.
Yeah, that shit's funny as fuck, bro.
So what they did literally, like they at the end of like, which I didn't know when their set was gonna end. I didn't know what the fuck I was expecting. And they literally like say like, oh, we're gonna play the venue's favorite song like right now, and it's like, yeah, like they requested this song, so we're gonna play it for them. And everyone's like, I'm honestly like getting hyped because first of all, I've experienced a show like I've never experienced a show before. Like, I think I have heard of Steak Sauce Mustache and maybe seen a few videos, but unless you go to one, you really
It's a different
don't know what you're
experience.
expecting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
for example, what did they threw? Is this the one they threw pool noodles at?
The
in
pool
there?
noodles,
So we were like,
they
everyone's
had-
got people fighting with pool noodles. They did a wall of death with the pool noodles.
Yeah.
They had people walking around in a
They
circle
did, like, a
pit.
slow motions.
It's a slow motion circle
When
pit.
you can
It
get
is.
the whole crowd to be pretend they're motorcycles with pool noodles, you have
Yeah.
too much control.
It's fantastic.
You are too powerful. I'm gonna need you to take a few steps back.
And talking about a band that like stays in character
The whole
time.
entire time.
Yeah.
And
And
literally
it's
make
super nice.
It feels like they go out of their way to make sure everybody is participating.
Yeah.
And to the fact where like I don't think I saw one person not at least participate in one of the things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because it is hard. Like something you have the people who are like, oh, I'm just here like just to chill. But even those people like were like interacting, like grab the pool noodle, hit somebody really quickly, or like the little. I know the circle pit where they had people walking like penguins, like they were all walking around. You know what I mean? Like it was such a fun show. Like it was amazing. But yeah, that's definitely a fucking memorable one.
That one was one of my favorite ones so far.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
nuts.
Easily most recently the Fort Worth Hardcore Fest, the free show. That was cool.
Fort Worth
Like
Hard-
the moment 3:00 hits. Well, the doors are 3, but like first band was like 4 early afternoon. And like that moment, you already had like 50, 60 people there, and I was like, all right, cool. Like there's plenty of people here to come check out the bands. And by the end of the night, you have like I don't know, close to 300 people just fucking killing each other.
The swinging barricade. As soon as I saw them pick up the barricade, I was
Okay,
just like,
I need to get that guy's name because I've seen him at a few shows and he's always funny and like wild.
I can
but
send
like,
you the video so you can just like
There-
plug.
here, look, we'll insert the video after this. So basically, there's this guy watching one of the bands, and then like the barricade starts. Just
they
people
broke
start
it.
just breaking
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And it's like this metal steel like barricade that like
yeah.
they link up together, but like the pieces have come apart.
Yeah.
And it's just like lying there, and I see like in the video what I saw is like the guy like grabbed it, and he's getting ready to like just like. Have you played Mario 64 where you swing around Bowser? That's what he's trying to do to the barricade. And I'm
That was
just
WWE. That was not no like Mario Party. That was WWE swinging that around the pit, and then he drops it. You see somebody else go pick it up, start swinging it around the pit. I'm like, this is fucking funny, but I know you're not allowed to do that. So let me go tell Daniel real quick.
Yeah, I was like,
in the
oh,
video you see DJ like hustling. He's like, hold on, I gotta go stop
Yeah,
this.
because I saw the first one, they threw it at everybody, and I was like, "That's kind of cool." But I was like, "But I really like this venue." I went up and I told homie, I was like,
Yeah.
"He's got it!" Like in the end, I was like, "Hold on." I was like, "I get it, but I just can't. I
Yeah.
just can't." He's like, oh, come on.
He's like, man, I love the
like, I'm
energy,
sorry,
but you
bro.
might kill somebody. But like real talk. Like,
I'm sorry, bro.
I talked to him. I told him I just told him hey, I heard you were trying to get like real fucking wild out there. He's like, hey man, I was trying. I tried, man. Like he was acting like he let me down. You know what I mean? Like
Next time.
I was like, nah, but
Okay.
it's okay.
The other memorable one, do you remember Rubber Gloves, the show where that kid got his nose broken and we didn't think he was going to come back
Oh.
to the show, and he comes back like 2 hours later ready to go. Like, it was like,
Damn,
all
I know.
right.
That was our no, you weren't there. That was our
Yeah.
second show of the year. That was the ballista show at Rubber Gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember literally like we saw that, and then he got his nose broken. We heard about it, and we're like, oh shit,
poor
whatever.
guy.
And then we see him back later, like just
So his friends literally came up to us and they're like, if we take him to the hospital, can we bring him back afterwards? You know,
That was the concern.
And we're just like, sure, you know,
Oh,
thinking
fuck.
that, you know, what hospital's going to get you out of there before the show's going to end. You know what I mean?
a good
So we're
thought.
like, yeah, I mean, if you guys can come back, sure, come back. And not even 2 hours later, they bring him back. He's feeling himself because whatever medication they gave him.
Right.
And like everybody, I was just like, all right, y'all are allowed back in, but keep an eye on him. Because he's already gotten rocked once and now he's feeling it. So
And then was that the one with somebody else? Like another ambulance came by.
That was,
didn't
like,
they?
at
Or
the
was
end
that a
of the
different
show,
one?
I think.
Another one, yeah. Somebody else, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the other person got their knee like inverted
No.
or something.
yeah,
like
that's
that,
what
right?
it was.
Is that what
'cause
happened?
I remember
Shit.
because the cars almost got blocked in when everybody was trying to leave because all that was like happening.
Yeah,
wasn't
so it was going like this. That's the front of the knee.
Fuck.
He's walking like those aliens in Men in Black. You know what
Man,
I'm
I hope
talking
it
about?
healed right. I'm not just a wild ass hardcore show moment where it's just like, and everybody
I mean,
just
it's a
keeps
ballistic,
rocking.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody
Fucking
keeps
show up,
rocking,
bro.
man, and just like, all right, get him out, make sure he's all right, keep going.
That's literally like how they do it. I mean, at the hardcore show, the last one we did, the fest.
Oh, someone. I mean, they were diving and they
Yeah.
were going chest first into the corner of the tables, and they were like, "All right," and
Yeah,
I was like,
standing
"Fuck
right back
me,
up.
bro."
Yeah.
I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah, that's just amazing to be part of that. It's like to see that, and be like, oh, okay, we're just jamming out. It is a little dangerous,
It's a little
but, you know,
dangerous. It's a
hey,
little dangerous.
hey, man, it's also fun. You know what I mean? They got youth on their side. All right, all
It was a
right.
free show. It was a good cause.
I gotta act like now, like it's like, all right, man, I'm concerned about you, but also like remembering back in the day, I used to do reckless shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah, I've
so
done
it's
my
all
shit.
balances out.
I've elbowed, knocked people's teeth in. You know what I mean? I've done my fair share of damage to people. It is what it is.
That's got that's something we could talk about, but like that's been brought up I think quite a bit this year of like I guess the risk that you take in going to shows
Sure.
and stuff like that, and how to like the balance between like, okay, like what's going too far or like crowd, because every time like a bad thing happens with like hardcore or like just moshing in general or like
Yeah.
crowd killing, that's when I feel like that's when people start speaking up and it's like, oh, well, it shouldn't be like that, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But like, if the show goes well, like no one ever says anything about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting, the conversation.
I think that's where it comes down to, if you don't want to get hit, don't be in the pit, and don't be a fucking dick and go after anybody who's not near the pit. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
I get like
you know?
the crowd killing and stuff like that too, and I don't know, if you got to kind of read the room, you see what kind of show you're at. Like you might want to take whatever precautions. Like I acknowledge, like I'll stand in the back when I'm like not feeling it. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna be right here because I know if I'm right there, I'm gonna get my fucking shit kicked in. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait. But sometimes I'm like, this band's badass. Like I feel I'm gonna stand up here. I want to. If I get hit, that's fine. Like I acknowledge that, but I don't. I think people looking from the outside in may not understand that off the bat, or they might be in like heavy metal, which they're used to like more like pitting, push pits, and like circle pits and stuff like that. And it's this different evolution over here, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And it's like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
You gotta
it's
read
like
the room.
if you're completely outside of it, it looks completely like
Yeah, it looks
savagery.
crazy,
Like
yeah.
from
Yeah.
people, it's like,
And
what the
it's
fuck
sick.
are they doing?
It's
You know what I
awesome.
mean? But once you start like looking, it's like, oh, this is the actual culture, like the people who are participating in it. So I get for someone like new, but I also like there's context clues to be like, oh, maybe I should, like, you know, the
Yeah.
fucking I'm in danger thing. That should pop up. That should pop up when you're like seeing people get rocked. Because I know, like, because I'll go up and like try to get like videos of like the bands and stuff like that. But I
you
know
take that
full
risk,
wheeling, I'm
yeah.
like, I'm probably,
might hit
and
you,
I've
yeah.
gotten kicked like in the
Yeah.
back and stuff like that. And I'm like,
You have footage of someone hitting you, no? Wasn't
that was we went to the Texas Death Fest. Was I Am?
Andy's,
Yeah, and I was like, I took
yeah.
my camera. I was so happy. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start recording again.
Your
And I remember
first mistake.
taking a cool video of someone doing a flip, and I'm like, that looked cool. And I'm like, let me look at it right now. And I'm like, wait, hold on, this is stupid. And then someone did another flip and flipped right into me, and I'm like, oh shit.
No
But like,
one
I knew
knows.
that I was right in the front, and I
Yeah.
like wasn't paying attention. So I'm like, oh, okay, like I wasn't gonna get mad about that, you know, because I knew it was like, oh, I was in the danger zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is. I do see the other like end of it when people like get extra like the. I guess and I might not be understanding like crowd killing sometimes, but like, and I get like when people like. I've seen people like go after like the surrounding things, and I'm like, I've seen that. I'm like, I'm familiar with it, so I'm like, okay, I probably like if I'm standing right at the edge of the pit, like you still got the risk of that. It's that weird like targeting stuff that's like a little scary sometimes. That I look at, I'm like, ooh, like, and then I don't know that person, so I don't. Is it targeting? Like, was it, or is it just like someone trying to have fun? You know, it's hard. It's a hard distinction
because
sometimes.
I mean, at least in some situations I've seen where it's like maybe two people are now locked in, and then now they're like kind of fucking with each other for whatever reasons may be. Maybe it's outside of the show, maybe it developed within the show. And then some, like you're saying, sometimes it's fun. Like someone might have been like, "Oh, fuck you," and they're like, "Oh, well, fuck you." You know, like they just keep going back and forth. But unfortunately, it does happen. You know what I mean? And then you know, I step in and I gotta be like, "Hey guys, can't we just get along?"
Calm down. It's all right, but take a breather. All right. It's
But
all right.
at the end of the day, like you just gotta go if you can't play ball. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess, and then like keeping talking about like cool shows, like the one that I think like is insane. Even when I was going back, I realized like, oh shit, like I set my friends on fire, like playing one of our shows, and I'm just like, bro, that's kind of wild.
That's kind of one of those like, oh shit, this is the cool opportunity of a band to work with. I wish I won't say it like this. I will
say it like
I wish we could have figured out a little bit more of an accommodating venue, and this isn't to say anything less of the venue that we worked with. But I acknowledge like they're not used to like heavier bills like that, and kind of like 4 or 5 band bills. You know, they're a little bit more of a compressed set is what they're used to. And I mean, unfortunately, they are gone now. That shit was
so I mean, I guess we could dive into that.
So, like,
we can segue into that. So what the fuck, dude? Like venues, fucking
you just dropping.
dropping.
So in a week span, we lost Lola's, which the new location Lola's. We lost Isis Theater. We lost something else.
Big Rob's.
Big Rob's.
We lost Big
gone.
Rob's.
We lost the Rail.
We have the revival of the Rail now.
But that's news like within the past week, like that the Rail's getting revived.
So prior to that, I'm just thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah, because it was just like all of these like
right?
venues that we had lost, you know, in Fort Worth, basically, right? I mean, Big Rob's is Euless, but
in general, like Dallas is already diminished as far as venues that are like small scale. From anywhere from like 80 to 400 or 500 cap, I guess you can call small clubs or whatever. And then it's all commercial, or it's like Live Nation. You know what I mean? That have a monopoly that you can't get into those venues without whatever fucking ever. And then there's some other venues that I like that are a little bit more particular. Like, oh, you can do a show, but you got to do it at like 9. And it's got to go until like midnight, 2 a.m. And I'm like, that's cool maybe for a specific target market or a specific style of show that we may have, but it doesn't work for our general like shows that we put on.
Yeah, so
we wrap up by like 10:30, 11. Late as we start as early as 7. You know what I mean? That seems to be like the norm. There's not many people want to be out. Even this is after COVID. Not many people want to be out late at night.
By 10 p.m., the back's hurting, man. We gotta wrap it up.
You're not wrong. I mean,
or they may be out, but they may have plans from 11 beyond to go do the Dallas bar run or whatever ever. It's not like show specific. It's like, now I'm here to go party and get messed up
because I don't know, but I remember like being put on when we were playing like in a band, like being put on where we're playing at midnight or past midnight. I'm like, and it would be at the moment I'd be like, okay, cool, that's the way it rolls or whatever. But like thinking about that, like today, I'm like, no one's gonna be there, like at all.
Fuck no.
Like depending on what type of show you're throwing, I mean, there might be like a few particular ones that you could throw, but like in a general basis, like people are looking to be out of like the venue, and depending where you are, like just even getting out, like
exactly,
and going all the way back home or whatever you have planned, whatever, like it's a big commitment that, but being out that late is kind of crazy.
Like, show me a band that's like from like local to like national tier that can play a midnight set for like a full crowd. Like, who's actually there past midnight? I don't know what it's like in other states. I don't know if there's like a niche market with like, let's say like a Las Vegas and they have like a late night, whatever the fuck ever. But there's just not many people wanting to be out and about at midnight to see a show specifically.
Here,
I think it's really the Texas demographic because Texas as a whole, everything closes like by 9, 10 o'clock. Unless you're in Dallas, but even then, Dallas now has those strict quiet hours.
They do?
What?
Well, I mean, Dallas has the quiet hours by like 11 for like Deep Element stuff like that.
Oh,
you
like,
have to be done.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everything usually wraps up early. And when you think about the shows that run past midnight, they're usually like the hip hop demographic where people, the headliner's not going on or showing up till 1, 2 in the morning sometimes, depending on what kind of club or scene you're in.
Sure, okay.
So, but again, even then, even the big names that you see are still done by 10, 11 o'clock because of the quiet hours. So even with those rules, it's a little bit hard to do when everybody's so used to things being wrapped up by a certain time.
Yeah, and here, like you were saying, like a lot of the stuff is closed. Where like if you, I think like New York is like has shit open hella late. So like if you're out, you could still go get something, see a band and get something to eat afterwards, even though you're coming out like at 2 in the morning or whatever.
Got to deal with the rats.
Them
Big ass rats.
Oh shit, we get clients from Miami and they talk about, certain clubs and scenes start picking up at 1. If you're there before 1, you're just trying to get in for free. But if you're there after 1, that's when the party gets started. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just depending on where you're at. And I think that because Texas is so, everything's done early, everything closes by 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock if you're lucky. It makes it harder for everybody to be like, yeah, let's stay out. Because let's be honest, none of us really like staying out past. I don't like staying out past midnight.
It depends.
You're a night owl.
I'm always
You're a pretty night owl.
Yeah, it turns into Gotham City out here sometimes.
But you're not out unless you're working.
I'm working.
Yeah, you're only out because you're working.
Yeah.
Like, so today's the 1st. So last night was New Year's Eve. You were only up because you were working.
Yeah, I was.
You were asleep, right? Or were you up?
Year?
Were you out?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Hell no, I was asleep.
And then I like I said, I was out, but literally like 2 midnight. And like it's like, oh, midnight. I can see her. I'm like, let's go. Like let's go. You know what I mean? And it's just like I don't necessarily need to be out there. So like I always have to like gauge it because like sometimes I'm like, oh, is it just me? Like I don't like being out because I remember when I was younger, like I was leaving my house. Like I wouldn't leave the house before 11. Like when I was going out. Like I literally was like not going out early. Like I was like, oh, like if someone was like, oh, we're meeting up at 10:30, it's like that's a little too early. You know what I mean? Like I literally was. Yeah, I wasn't. I
was always like 8 o'clock. Time to go. We gotta go see what's going on.
Nah, normally I would take a nap, and then like, oh, okay, I'm ready to go. But yeah, it is. The venue closings like have been sad, and then you do get a lot of people like chiming in with opinions, like as far as like how they could get it work. But plain and simple, like the only way to get venues to stay open is to go to them.
It's to go to them.
Yeah,
like to go to them regardless. I mean, when you have more like music focused clubs where they're not open during the day and they're solely focused on just whatever show pulls them in. I mean, like they run the gamble. You know what I mean? Hopefully the show brings in people. Hopefully we make sales. I'll look at something like it's like the Post where I work, where we function as a restaurant during the day. So there's kind of that excuse to be open 24/7. And then you have places like Tulips where they are a bar/music venue, so you can go during the day or early afternoon and still get a drink and hang out. But the general, and I could be wrong, general consumer mentality is like, I'm gonna go. Unless there's a reason for me to be there, like I'm gonna go when the show's there. You know what I mean? Unless they just make that good of a fucking cocktail or that good of a meal or whatever.
Make me miss Killer's Tacos. Talking about that because
Yeah.
it was cool early
Yeah.
for Killers.
Cool.
That is true. Yeah.
So I think it depends. I mean, there's other things that play into it.
It's a giant list of factors.
All the
like,
overhead and all that stuff can get
and
kind of
like,
out of hand.
I get that, and then, like I guess if you're in that business type, then talking about that sort of stuff like makes sense. But like for the normal consumer, it's like, yeah, you're just going out. But which is why like the culture of like just going out to shows is something that like I've always been a super big fan of. I noticed that the more work we do, the less I do that, and it's kind of so like even this year I was talking. I was talking about it, and I'm just like, this year I do want to dedicate to at least going out to a few shows that have nothing to do with me.
Us,
Nothing to do with me, nothing even like national. Like something just like, just a show that's happening, and find to find new music. Because like I did experience this year where I found like there's a ton of bands that I do not know like remotely, and I'm like, and they're pretty decently followed, and I'm like, that's wild. I go, so there's a lot out there that I'm not touching base on that I would like to. So it's something that I definitely want to look into and contribute more as well. You know what I mean? Because like if I'm gonna talk about it, I want to be part of that. Yeah. But yeah, the Rail's coming back, which is cool. I'm happy that Ethan is a part of it, to be honest with you. Ethan's like a great guy and works fucking hard, so I'm glad that he's taking the reins on operations there.
And I wasn't aware of his exact position in the last rendition, but like I believe he's like at a higher.
I think it's higher now. I think he's completely
so he'll have
like
a lot more
offered.
control. So I feel like with him really like behind the wheel, I'm like, fuck yeah, like that place has a lot of bad past memories, and it can only get better. So with him being there, it's one of those people I'm like, I trust him to do the fucking best job possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he understands what's at stake, like if you we're losing, I mean, the whole conversation itself, we're losing venues left and right. He gets what's at stake without putting, I feel like, profit in everything first, which is important, don't get me wrong. But it's just the priorities and the heart's in the right place. So hopefully this time we can see the Rail Club come and
honestly,
stay.
like Rail Club it's sicko for like several reasons, whether it be you can host like a national show and you can host a local show. Sure, some people maybe like the stage is high, and especially if it's like the hardcore kids, they like the smaller compressed like venues, but it still kind of has that same vibe. It has a lot of amenities that bands can like enjoy instead of like, for instance, like one thing I wish we had at my venue was like a nicer green room. It's a small green room. I mean, it's kind of small, but their green room is like separated. They can have like all their time to themselves. So they have a lot of, and their backlining stuff in the back, like all that shit. Like it's smart. It's a very solid venue, and with the right hands with like Ethan and stuff like that, like it can do a lot of good. It can do a lot of cool shit, and people need to acknowledge that. They need to see that it can do way fucking better. Yeah,
absolutely. And just go to a show. Pick a random one. Pick a random one and find some. Yeah, and I get it. Like depending on the demographic, like it's harder to go out to shows and stuff like that. But there's still a giant generation. When I look at that, I start considering that because I look at like people who are like into like my age and a little older. It's like, all right, normally they like are responsible for other shit, like maybe a kid, whatever, So it's harder to go out. But there's still like a giant young demographic that doesn't have like all that. So I'm always wondering like, where is this demographic? I'm like, where is that?
What are you into?
What are you into?
Tell us.
What do you want? Who you want? Taylor Swift?
Do we need to start doing like what is it the YouTubers do, the little gameplays of concerts where you're kind of just the commentary in the top corner? Oh fuck, you see that guy spin the barricade around? Is that how we're gonna reach them? Like, what do we have to do?
So, no, I mean, bringing that back. I mean, there's the new media. Like, there is a whole like streaming and like all this shit. Like, there's a giant thing where people are completely focused on it. So I like that's been one of like the hardest like obstacles is figuring out like, oh, how do we reach those people so that they can come out to a show? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of stuff like I think that's shifted to online and stuff like that. People, because I still think like I don't watch any streamers, but like because that's wild to me. I'm like, holy shit! Like you're watching someone live like do like a show and just like spend hours on it. Like I still don't know how it all works, but people are doing that. People are sitting there and like watching entertainers. You know what I mean?
So like I always feel, especially now that I'm older, I always feel like I've always been more of an old head because I consider you like way more modern with technology and stuff like that.
And I'm old as fuck.
And like concepts and like the lingo. And I always find myself a little bit outside looking in, but like having like just now recently using like Discord and like seeing what people do on Twitch and stuff like that. I'm like, there's all these like platforms to utilize that I don't because one, I either find myself intimidated by it or not knowing how to just get it started when I'm just like, fucking just do it, bro. I don't have an ambition to start a Twitch. I'm not gonna stream. I don't have the time for being honest, but there's a lot of cool shit that I just realized I've let just kind of fly by because I've just kind of been here in this little fucking tunnel and kind of getting out of that and be like, oh, there's so much more shit to do.
No, I think
why not?
I think for somebody like for me, where I'm constantly working with teenagers every day, like doing hair and interacting with them, it's interesting hearing where a lot of like the kids that come into my job, what they do. I mean, a lot of them are focused on the usual things, sports, school, working, doing stuff like that. And I think that's where I don't want to say too much because obviously this is like
Yeah.
things for us we know and need
Yeah.
to figure out and stuff like that. But I think a lot of it is, one, I mean, these are broke kids. You know, they're making minimum wage at work. They're paying probably for gas and stuff like that. So I know a lot of the demographic isn't wanting to go, you know, to example, like a big ass Live Nation show unless their parents buy the tickets. But that's where we need to figure out as a local scene how to reach those kids to be like, hey, you know, come to a local show. If you get the tickets in advance, you know, it's $15 versus if you wait till the day of show, $20. Plus, you don't get those crazy surcharges that you would get if you buy Live Nation. So it's just stuff like that where it's figuring out how to get the point across, because I'll talk to them. Like, I've had one kid, he came in, he sat down, he saw my Orthodox sticker on my toolbox, and he's like, I just found that band. And I'm like, you know, and that's when I told him, you know, oh, we have a Fort Worth Hardcore Fest, you know, there's all this stuff going on if you want to be interested in that. And he's like, well, you know, I'm just getting into the scene, so I don't know any of this stuff.
Then let
So
us
that's
be the gateway.
yeah, so that's where I'm
Yeah.
always just like, what bands do you like? What do you like? Let me slip you some stuff. If you like this stuff, you know, I'm gonna slip the NoiseROT thing out them. But it's just, I think a lot of them don't know where to navigate that anymore. Especially with, again, the venues changing, the scene changing. Deep Ellum isn't what it was 10 years ago with all the live music and stuff like that. They don't have the things that we had 10 years ago. So I think that's where we also, it's a battle keeping that alive, as we talked about with venues, and also making it to where it's like, hey, this is what we have going on. This isn't what we're used to, where it's like, you know, tangible tickets. We know it's Deep Ellum. We know about this. We know about that. It's no longer like that. And I think a lot of places also have that disconnect with social media to reach them for that.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, okay. No. As far as that, the building that community, I see how easy it is to me to be like, oh, it's easy to reach out to this community. If I really look at it, before I was in it, I had no clue.
Yeah.
Until someone brought me in, which was like, I had played in a band, but like when the first iteration of the band that I played, like, wasn't part of the scene. We were just part of high school. So our friends were coming to our shows, and I met like one friend that was in a band. But even then, we just like, we knew each other and that was it. Yeah. And then when we started trying to do the band back, I had a friend who was in a band, and then they played a show. So I'm like, oh, I'll go to their show. It was actually yours, your old band, Arsenal. Yeah. So I went to that, and then there was like a few people that I knew and a few people that didn't, and I'm like, okay, what is this? It was Tomcats at the time, which fucking R.I.P. I will always R.I.P. Tomcats. That place was fucking.
I'll never talk about
magic.
their bathrooms again if you bring it back.
Yeah, I met so many people on just like a show that I went to. And then after that, like, somebody invited me to it. Because, I mean, again, people are always hustling their shows at the time. And I was, like, so excited about this, like, new world that I discovered. And someone was like, hey, we're having a show, you know, here in a couple weeks or what's that. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. Tickets are $10. And then, like, got me a ticket. So, okay, now I'm back in there. Now I'm like, that's a person that I kind of knew. You know what I mean? Then I get to meet more people. And then you start just connecting that way. But at first, like, unless I had that first person to, like, get me in there, like, I would have no clue how to be in it. So I think I like the idea of, like, let us be the gateway. Like, hey,
exactly.
And I think we try to do that as much as possible with our shows, just make it as accessible as possible. And, like, even talking to just, like, the people. That's why, like, I've tried to do more interactive stuff with, like, crowds and stuff, because I'm like, it's really cool. I want you to feel like, hey, it's cool to be here. I can just talk to anybody about this, and especially like the little song videos, because I'm like, look at everybody's fucking like range in music. It's
crazy.
But they're at like a Sorrow Eater show, and like fucking what's it, Hunter? It goes Sexy Red, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh shit, cool.
Just not everyone listens to the one genre.
And I think that's what it is. I think people are still stuck in like, oh, like I don't listen to this. I don't get it, and I'm just gonna stay away completely from it. Or like, I think there's
most
something
people are
about
like
that.
pretty open. Yeah, it's nice. I like this topic of you don't know. You're like, at least for me when I was younger, like we started a band in 6th grade. Me and Eddie were like, fuck it, let's just start a band and see what happens. And we played like a battle of the bands at school, and they're like, oh, let's play like shows. And you're like, how do we find shows? What the fuck do we do? And you just start a Facebook and you talk to random people. Like, I would just hit up venues, and just finally you meet like a random promoter, quote unquote, who's putting a show together, and then you start like tying in everything, and you don't really see that you're like in the scene until like later, like, oh, we're like doing shows, and like I'm meeting all these other bands, or you do a lot of house parties, and you it's I feel like with something like us, it's a continued evolution of what's gonna keep happening. Now there's a lot more accessibility now than there was, I'd say, when I was younger. As far as getting contacts or getting on shows. I mean, the ability to find music because of Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, and stuff like that is crazy now. Like I remember trying to use like MySpace finders to like find bands and stuff in different states, and that was like, it was cool, but it still took time. But how accessible and easy it is to build something now, and for us to be like in it and just trying to like continue nurturing it, I think it's fucking cool. And unless it's like the one-off random guys, you still have like the guys in like Spoon, you have guys like in DIE, and then just like random guys. But it's I don't know, there's so much. It's the next wave of what's happening in the scene is really exciting to be a part of. Is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah,
seeing like where the shows that we started coming out from, and then just seeing everybody that's birthed out of that, because it was like awesome. People birthed out of that scene before. You know what I mean? Everyone's
realizing like, oh, like I'm in this too. I can be a part of this. I can provide. Like I want to provide.
That's literally how this happened. You know what I mean? It's just like us literally being part of the scene for years. You know what I mean? What was you? So you started a band, was playing shows and stuff like that, which is how you got it. For you, Bernice, did you start going to like smaller shows like that, or did you start off going like to like just bigger bands that you were like liking? And
so for me, the first show, really it's not necessarily a show, but the first thing I ever went to was Warped Tour. And Warped Tour, I mean, you know, a lot of kids, you know, certain extent now, they never got to experience what that was like. So you always got, you know, for me, I'm a very like sentimental person. I like keeping the flyers, I like keeping the tickets, I like keeping all that. And then afterwards, it turned into, oh, well, this was fun as fuck. So then the next show I went to was Modern Baseball. And that was at the door. Yeah, Modern Baseball was sick. And then, of course, that was when, you know, in Deep Ellum, you were allowed to still put flyers on, you know, the poles outside. And you had the door in the Profit Bar where they would have all their flyers going down the wall. So then you would see, oh, shit, you know, I'm here for this show and Glass Cloud's here next week. Now we can come here. Or, you know, you'd go to the bathroom and you would pocket one of the flyers just to keep as a keepsake. You know what I mean? So it was just one of those ones where eventually, you know, you would constantly see the same, like you were saying earlier, you would see the same people. You would go to the show. Eventually you befriend them. Next thing you know, you have friends in bands. You want to go support them. So really it was just like, this big one was really cool. Translates, how do I keep going to this in between Warped Tour and then so forth.
That makes sense. I remember Warped Tour was probably my first interaction into like I guess that scene, because I always talk about like how like I actually got into anything remotely heavy, and it was A Day to Remember that did it. And then A Day to Remember was playing Warped Tour, so I went to Warped Tour for like one band and saw so many fucking like bands total, like two, like my friends went for like these two bands that were coming up from Mexico, which were called one was called Allison, the other was called Deluxe. Both English ass names, but I thought that was fucking cool. Like, what the fuck? They're just touring this thing. But then I saw, before I even really knew that, I saw Dance Gavin Dance with Kurt. I saw Census Fail, which was fucking sick. And then Paramore, like back in the Riot era, like out of fucking nowhere.
Just
you
like
know?
Fucking.
Just all this shit. But I like what you said, because I think that's what it was. Like, how do I keep seeing like this band? Because for me, I'm like, that was the only time I'd seen them. So then I was like, then I started following like A Day to Remember sometimes. So I went to like San Antonio to see them one time, and I went to this and that. And being like, oh, okay, there's more shows like to it, you know what I mean, that they're playing. So when they're playing, I don't know when I really got into like seeing a band headline and then seeing like, oh, like smaller bands like play for them. I think I remember seeing Dance Gavin Dance at Tomcats one time with Richard, I think. We both went. And it was like Dance Gavin Dance. It was Polyphia, and it was, I can't remember, it's when they were wearing the jackets that on their debut album. And Navajo opened for that, if you remember Navajo.
I still have a Navajo shirt too.
I just kept going, Navajos! I was like, that's what they should call their fans. But I was seeing that, I'm like, holy, and I remember being at another and like, or hearing their name somewhere, I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like they're, like, how did that happen? Like, how are they on this lineup? But then it's like when I started discovering, like, oh, like they add locals to like some of these bills and stuff like that. Which is when you start looking like, oh, you can do that. You know what I mean? Like, and it was pretty fucking like a wild ride when we started being in a band and like playing some of these shows and opening for like some of these bands. Like I always I think like Flex is like, oh yeah, we played for who we opened for Dayseeker.
We've opened for Dayseeker.
Two times legit.
Technically.
2 times legit. No, 2 times.
Oh, 2 times.
One time at Tomcats and one time at
Dirty 30. Yeah.
Dirty 30. I love that.
Atreyu.
Atreyu.
Sleeper. No, those 2 shows.
2 shows, yeah.
Atreyu and then the O Sleeper show.
And then
Miss May. Technically.
Miss May? We can do Miss May.
I mean, not Miss May.
We did the Carl Morale.
Not Colin Morale. Fucking.
And then we did the Plot in You, actually.
The Houdang.
Oh, yeah. Memphis Mayfire.
Did y'all play the Plot in You and Vanna's farewell show, or am I making
No, not that
okay,
one.
I remember you there, right?
That show was fucking... No, I didn't go that one.
No?
That show was fucking crazy, though.
That shit was crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how I fell into like the scene, and I get like it is intimidating, I guess, for people, but I like that there's so many niche markets to like music that's kind of fucking cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like you just gotta find your crowd. Like I've talked to a few artists who are like, well, I don't know like where I fit in. I'm like, you gotta find it. You know what I mean, or create your own. Like that's just the hardest part, because like I have like talked to an artist who are like, well, I don't know who to play with or who are my fans, and I'm like, yeah, that's unfortunately that's the burden of being an artist, is like you have to find that crowd, which is why I like
you start getting random bills, but
social media and online, because like
exactly.
If you can't find anything here, and you're having a hard time creating it, I'm like, maybe you only have like 100 people. They're spread the fuck out, but that's 100 people. You know what I mean? Like 2 here, blah blah blah, 3, whatever. But finding that like market for bands, and I think that's one of the things that we've like trying to really help out when we get the chance, when we get these bands coming through town, or even bands from here, and letting people know like, hey, this shit exists. Cool. You know what I mean? And it's cool as fuck. Like there's been like this year, I think one of my favorite albums that came out was from Cherry Mantis, and it's literally like that album is just fucking, I've had it on repeat, and I'm like, that is people that I've seen here, that live here. You know what I mean? That you know, I'm had in this fucking room now, but I was just like, that's fucking crazy. Like that talent is immense, like, and it's stuff just around the fucking corner. You know what I mean?
My favorite's been the genre blending that bands have been doing. Like Bleak gives me some like Breaking Benjamin vibes in some parts. You get some real Pretty Boy band shit in them.
Some Pretty Boy
like
shit.
You don't really put them in one box, but then at the same time it works for them in their favor, because the amount of different shows and like formats that they can play, like audiences they can reach, is crazy for them. It works in their favor. Or Frail State. You have Frail State.
Frail State, fucking badass.
Frail State's fucking sick, but it's like, how do you get these names? How do we, as small as we are, get these names out there so people know that these bands exist? Because then you get, you know, I don't know about y'all, what y'all use, but I use Apple Music. And Apple Music, I swear, it doesn't matter what I'm listening to, they end up switching to where it's the same bands. It'll be like Bring Me the Horizon, and it'll be the fucking happy song. And it's like, first of all, there's more bands than Bring Me the Horizon. There's also more bands there's more songs than the happy song. Yeah. You know, so how do we, you know, whenever you have all these like weird little, everybody's used to going on their app, and you know, whenever it plays a selective stuff, or not selective, but keeps playing afterwards, like recommended, you get used to it. Yeah. You absolutely get used to it. So how do you reach people to spread these newer talents out to everybody and be like, nah, this exists. There's more bands than just these top 5 bands that Spotify or Apple Music keeps saying that's the only ones that exist pretty much in a way. You know
even
what
like, I mean? Even as like a person, sometimes I get like become a creature of habit and only play like certain artists. And it's like, I realize I get sometimes, because sometimes like, I need a break because I've been listening to a lot of new stuff all the time, and it's like, it's hard to keep up. I need to go back to something to bring me back to the level. But part of doing this is that I, you know, need to listen to as many like bands as possible, and like all the bands that we have coming through, definitely at least that, and then finding new ones that we can pair stuff up with, or even just.
I mean, I keep coming across new stuff around town that I'm like, whether it be like, I've seen their name, but I haven't taken the time to listen to them. I'm like, oh shit, they're fucking badass. And like you were saying earlier, like there's just so much fucking good shit in DFW. It's insane.
I mean, we were going over. I mean, I don't know. I guess we can bring this up now. So 2023, we did not have a Chill Sounds and Breakdowns festival.
Yeah.
But wait,
I'll go as far as you want to go. That's
all right, we want. Not going too crazy far, but 2024 will be open to Chill Sounds and Breakdowns 4 is happening. It's happening in 2024. We have since last year already started working on details and stuff, like especially missing out on that year. We really wanted to take a step back and do something really fucking cool, because that's literally all we want to do is doing cool shit.
Yeah.
So like if it wasn't gonna be what we wanted it to be, then fuck it, it's fine. Like waiting another year.
I think with like all the fine tuning, learning what worked, what didn't work. Having the ambition to go this far and realizing, well, let's pull it back and do this. Like, I think it'll be solid. I think this will set a foundation of what we can continue to do with it.
But with what I want to bring up with that, before we, I guess, get into anything, but that conversation we were having, one of the preliminary ones, and just going through bands, the list we were talking about, like everybody was finding like somebody that we didn't hear before, and then we're listening to music, we're like, what the fuck? Why is this so good?
It's so good.
Like it's stupid. I remember still like. The first time that we listened to Bad Lives before we booked them a show, I'm like, who the fuck are these? Like, it's this like band was really good, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And then now to seeing like everything like that Bad Lives has been doing now is like that's so fucking cool. But yeah, like I feel like anytime I try to reach out and find like new music, you find something really cool. And again, right here, you know what I mean? I found out like a lot of bands. I still remember when I found out that Rome Hero Foxes was from fucking Houston, and I'm just like, that's down the fucking road.
Catchy.
A band that I had been obsessed with,
So
you know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck? Like they're there, or like even just a little like further out, like Chancla Fight Club, which is from fucking
Badass.
San Antonio. They're
so
really
sick.
fucking good.
Oh, they're so good too. Fuck.
Yeah, there's so many fucking like badass bands that are just like. If not in the immediate DFW area, just like literally in our state.
Not far.
Yeah.
Not far.
That are super talented and just need to highlight it. But yeah, Chill Sounds 4 is happening this year. Not too many details we're gonna share yet with, but we have a lot of cool shit planned.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's happening.
That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. There's some offers out. Get back to me on those offers. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But so that's one of the things we're working on for the future of like NoiseROT is that this year, and then there's a few other things we're kind of looking into. I know we've I guess we go a little bit forward, a little bit back, but we had a few concepts we tried out like this last year.
Yeah, I mean, specifically we tried out like the Noise Night, which if you're unfamiliar, the idea was to kind of have more of a themed show, whether it be, and I'm going to be genre specific for this sake, but whether it be like an R&B show or a metal show or a hip hop show, and then tailor it with vendors and art vendors that complement that exact vibe. And then it also provided opportunity to bring in kind of regional bands that were coming into town. So we could also highlight, it gave us an opportunity to headline a local act that we think was like, yo, this band's fucking sick, like you should check them out. Sandwich them a touring regional band that were like, oh, these bands are sick too. And then also give newer bands, be like, hey, look, like it checked all the boxes, but it didn't do too well. And I mean, we did it on Mondays. Mondays were really hard to work with. It's a completely natural thing, but I think that one we could put on a back burner, maybe do quarterly.
We're thinking about like maybe slowing down the frequency of it to really fine tune it, because like one of the things that I was
attention if we're gonna do it.
Yeah, one of the things that I was always upset with was because every one of these lineups was fucking sick, stacked. Good. Like it was fucking like great. Like we took enough care to cater these lineups to be fucking great. You know what I mean? So I really want to do right by the artist, and that was one of the things. Like, they are like every band that we put on them was fucking like fantastic. Every artist that we did, and I'm like, oh, okay, like there's got to be a way to make this work for them because they deserve it. Because we believe. Yeah. One of the things like when we were putting those lineups, like every like artist, we like really believed in them.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're just like, oh, we need, and it's that whole going back to that same feeling. Like we want to share that with more people, you know. So how do we do that? Because we get to experience those bands. That's why we love them. But it's like, how do we get more people to just fucking come out and have fun time and you know enjoy something that we know is good, you know. Yeah. No, good. I'm done.
I was gonna say, well, not only that, but that gives like that same nostalgic, intimate feel for shows too that people miss. I mean, I feel like a lot of people miss, and I know, you know, for example, like when we went with the Sorrow Eater show, you see how many people, you know, John's been our friend for years. We're always like, oh, that's just been John. Yeah. But it's not until you see him at like an intimate show where you see all these other people. We're like, oh my god, you know, you know,
and my brother would be like, what?
Yeah.
Bro,
And again, it's like, and we're proud of them. We're not going to say that we're not, like everybody's proud of them and, they keep doing their thing and respect it. But it's one of those ones, it's not until you see it in like the element where it's just like, oh, fuck,
Yeah.
And I think that gives that
cool,
intimate moment where people can go and meet them and be like, oh my God, I got to meet so-and-so, or I got to meet this, because now we're all older and to us, it's like they're people, but, when you're getting into the scene and the excitement of that and stuff like that, some of these really big shows where, unless you pay the whatever the hell it is for the VIP package and stuff, you don't get to interact with these people. So when you have it in a smaller scale, like, Noise Night or like Rock Swap and stuff, you can still interact with these artists. And I think that brings back that feel that makes people want to be excited again. It's just, again, like you were saying, you don't want to take away from the artist when we can't bring more people out. You know what I mean? But I think that's one of those ones where I think that brings that special feeling back. Let me go and talk to, I took a picture with so-and-so. Oh, so-and-so signed this.
Oh,
like
so many of those.
Yeah, and it's like we're older now, so it doesn't excite us as much, I feel. I mean, it's
I
really
get what
cool.
you're saying.
It's really cool
we're
still, but...
like...
Yeah,
we've already understood it now. We don't get.
We just have access to a lot of like these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like going through like, I've fangirled over, and this was like going back to the other year, but going from being a fan and going to a Kurt Travis show versus like he played our first one, and, just, like, and getting to talk to him just like as a person, stuff like that has brought in like. Not so much of like, I don't get as excited anymore. More of like, oh shit, like they're fucking people. And then being able to talk to as many people like as I have, like now even like with this a little bit more intimate setting, that I've become grounded in the fact that like, everyone's like fucking, they're a person,
all
you know
people.
what I mean? And so it's fucking cool but like people were just going for the first time. Like I bring experience. I remember one of my girlfriend Sierra's cousins had a kid that went to their first show, which was Scene Queen. But Victoria XO opened for them, right?
Yeah.
And that was literally the first artist that they ever saw at a concert. You know what I mean? So that to them
was Victoria XO.
Yeah. So that to them, like they were like they created that, so they were fucking hyped. So they did the whole like let's meet them, this and that. And then when they played one of our shows. I was like, oh yeah, like you want to talk to her, like just a person, you know what I mean? And she came out and like talked to him, and for them, like they had the fucking time of their lives. Like they're still talking about
core
that,
memory
you know what I mean?
developing.
You know what I mean? But like I've had that so many times with like bands that like just go. I bring up Tomcats a lot because a lot of those members
met a lot
were
of bands
there.
Tomcats.
Tomcats so
I
much.
talked to John Mess from fucking Dance Cabinets when he played that show, and he was talking about the album. I was like, oh cool, you like it? Well, I'm like. And he was walking. He wasn't like at the merch table. He wasn't even like being bombarded. He was walking through by the pool tables, and I talked to him there. Fucking talked to, and I've had that same interaction with just like on a local level, like when I'm gonna mess up his last name, Matt. He plays in. I'm thinking of his old band name now, but
What's the old band?
Windwalker. But he plays in fucking. Oh my god! I just saw Jackson. Yeah, Matthew Jackson. But what's Oh my God. Post Profit. Why the fuck did I forget Post Profit? I just saw them. Stupid. Anyways, Matt Jackson, the first time I heard him, he was playing, and I was sitting at the merch table. So where Tomcats was, the merch was over here. There's a wall.
The wall. Yeah.
And then like, so I was just sitting there, and I hear the first note this fucker's hitting, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that? And I run over there, and like, I'm looking at this guy who literally lives fucking a few hours away.
Yeah.
He comes back to his merch table. I am fangirling like fucking crazy. I'm like, you're fucking amazing. Like, what the fuck? And like, that's an interaction I had. And that's someone at, there was a smaller level, you know what I mean? But you still have that interaction still there, that feeling still there. So I feel like once people open themselves up more to it, you could still have that. I guess as you get older, maybe you get a little cynical, or maybe like, oh, like, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean?
Unless you meet someone who pisses you off, because I've done that too. Because I remember seeing I'll say it. I went to go see Revocation. I love Revocation. I still do. I love Revocation, and I remember they played at Tomcats a long time ago, and Rustin, rest in peace, was saying, "Hey, so I booked Revocation. You want to come see this show?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And I show up early as fuck, like at 6. Like the doors are like way later. And he's saying, he's like, "So you're gonna?" There's David, and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, David Davison's fucking badass killer guy." And he's like, "You're gonna suck his dick now or later?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. You tell me. Whenever he's ready." But
when's the most convenient? Like I don't want to mess up his process.
But I tried to go say hi and just like say the typical like, oh, like you really inspire me, you're really fucking cool, blah blah. But he wasn't like having it. He was on his phone. He's like, And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go fuck myself now. I'm sorry for bothering. But I mean, I don't know what the situation was in that day or time or whatever have you. But I remember being young, thinking, damn, don't meet your heroes, bro. You can't do it.
It's tough because now I think now as you're older, you get to consider, be like, well, you know, who knows what's going through. But I also look at it like if you are touring, like this is the moment that you need to interact. This is the closest you'll have people like face to face that you can interact with them. Like, and this is if you were thinking about it like that way, I think you'd be like, oh fuck, like even if it's hard, even if I'm not feeling it, like I feel like it is in your best interest to like have great interactions. Because I've had great interactions with like bands that I didn't know. When we played, I remember I always bring up Outline and Color because I remember not knowing shit about them and being like, they're pretty sick. And then being able to talk to like the band members. Like I remember Trevor and I think Casey was in the band at the time. And I remember like talking to them. And after them, I was like, after them being like nice and decent and like even talking like cool stuff about our band, I'm like, oh, they're fucking great for the rest of my life. I bring up the fucking like Idola story so fucking much with fucking Andrew Wells, and like that guy was one compliment that he says like, hey, unsolicited.
You got to bring it back up? Huh? You got to see him again?
And I get to bring it back up. I just met him like not a week ago. Yeah. And still nice guy. Way buffer though.
Fucking
way the fuck buffer.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
God damn.
Low key, I got his email information. We're gonna he's gonna give me a workout plan.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I'm gonna sign up for it. But shit like that, I'm like, oh, those are good. I do see like the bad interactions.
I mean, but you just gotta let that shit go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the situation was, but I remember it.
Right? I think it's one of those ones where it's like, okay, on one hand, I understand artists are humans too. Everybody has their bad days. But on the other hand, from a business standpoint with anybody, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And people are more in a hurry to say something negative or report back something negative about you than they are to say something positive about you. So if you only get one shot to make a good first impression, why would you want it to be a negative? Again, like I get it. Everybody's human. Everybody has their bad days. But if you're able to be like, you know what? Fuck all that shit. Leave it at the door. I'm going to still put my best face forward because these people are here for me. These people are here to support me. Like, sometimes, we've all been there where we've seen a band where it's like, bro, do you even want to be here? Like, do you even want to be...
There's some that are out there that don't want to be there.
That is
true. I've learned that too.
Why are you here? Why won't you let somebody who actually wants to put their all in and be on that stage have that spot? If you don't want to be there, walk away.
Depends on what level you're at. But I think But I have two interactions. One, like if you're at the show and you're like making yourself sort of available, like to in the public, you're not hiding away or whatever, then I would say yes, be ready to put your best step forward. But if it's like you're on a street kind of thing and people are like walking up, that's like I get that difference of being like, oh yeah, I'm not in the mood right now. That's completely different though. But at a show like you're touring, I'm like, yeah, if you run into someone that's a fan,
it's gonna be hard to
like you can step away quickly. Like it doesn't and that's from personal experience. Like it doesn't take much to make me think that you're fucking like pretty awesome. Like even if you're like, hey, if you're just like give me like a minute of like talking, like cool, what's the name? It's like, hey, I gotta run and do something right now. Do it. Cool. I'm not trying to fucking like hit it, but yeah, it's like that, you know what I mean? Like someone who's like not even gonna pay attention to someone who's like excited
there was no one there.
You know what I mean?
It was just me and him. And it was clear that he didn't want to talk to me. And I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand. So I fucked off.
Yeah, but
I'm not mad.
it is what it is. I'm not mad. Like how many years ago was that?
Yeah, right.
Shit.
He's like, to the day. It's actually on this day at this time.
Like 10. No, I was. Anyways, it's not important. I'm not gonna think about it anymore.
They're still a band.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
You're gonna book them one day, dude.
That's the full circle moment. Yeah. This is what this whole thing's been for.
Just for that. Just for that. That's the origin of fucking NoiseROT. Just to get
fucking hit
his butt and ignore him. He tries to ask. God damn.
They're like, all right, disband.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up because I saw it on your sticker and I was like, we got to hang. We didn't really do much. Obviously, it wasn't our thing. But Plus Fest was tight. In regards to shows that we've...
Yeah,
Plus Fest was so cool.
We weren't a part of it exactly. We got to help out with it, so I don't know how to really phrase it. But it was cool to be there. I think that deserves some recognition.
Yeah, we didn't set up. we basically just like got a vendor spot for it. But because like we really liked what like Danny does, is that we were just like, hey, what if we do a little extra shit? And that's what like I was just like, oh, I like the whole thing is I've been trying to like get my learning wheels on how to do like content out with people and stuff like that. I'm cool. Like we don't have to run the show. Like we're just kind of here helping out where we can if they need help. Like, but I was like, let's try to do something for them. So it was fun just to hang out and interact. And again, that's the stuff you like to see, is like that community build, like seeing all these like people just talk to each other, people who like certain bands and then start like hanging out too. Because Plus Fest is really, I mean, I think they did a little something different with Day 2 where they like opened it up to a little bit different genres, but it's primarily a math rock like festival,
kind of proggy, kind of mathy.
So everybody going there is like likes very similar stuff. So if you're going there and like if you're going, you most likely anybody you can talk to there like is gonna like some of the same shit, you know, that you like. Yeah, but that was fun. That was fun as fuck.
That shit was fucking cool. That fucking snow farming,
fucking
badass.
Fucked me
bro, badass.
From the first note in the sound check, I'm just like, bro, who the fuck is this?
So good.
Yeah.
And then you talk to them, it's like everybody's been in something. Yeah,
they all have some history.
I was like,
so they know what they're
this is
doing.
why you run like so efficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're sick.
Snow farming, look up. No,
and then you got to perform. You jumped on during Terra,
That shit was funny. I honestly like. I swear, I always fucking kid around with these things, and then they end up happening. And I'm just like, fuck it, you gotta follow through now.
Yeah, you gotta run it.
Kid around about winning the lottery.
So, hey, maybe. No, that was fun though. I am a huge fucking Terra fan, and I've been a fan of Kevin's voice for like fucking forever once he started like singing. So once I heard Tara was coming back, I'm like, I need to be there. And then I got sad when I saw that he wasn't there, and I'm like, are they instrumental now? Like, oh no, because I haven't talked to Kevin in forever. So I like walked up and I'm like, hey, like, is it instrumental? And then, like, I can't remember his name, but it was a guitar player. He was like, we might be. Like, it's like Kevin's running late, and I literally, I think, I kid you not, I think I pretty much made this gesture and face. I'm like, well, if you need somebody to sing Dwell, I know that one. Turns out I only kind of know it, so I had to improvise. But I was like, once this chorus hits, boy, I know that one. Like that shit was just fun. That shit was just fun. And again, I know none of those guys on that stage, but Kevin, who wasn't there. And you know what I mean? That's an experience that I just had with that, and whoever like the crowd was with, and even after that, doing that, like just talking to people right after that. It's like, oh, you just did this, blah, blah, blah. And then start talking to them, and then going around and like filming like the content we did, getting to talk to everybody, some friends, some fucking strangers. I'm like, that was how easy that was. Is just shows me how easy it is to just walk up to somebody and talk to them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's probably easier if you're not pointing a camera at them and wanting to do something for them. You know what I mean?
Because people might freeze up on you and be like,
absolutely. But like, if I can walk up to random strangers and get them to do a video, you know what I mean? Then just going to a show and talking to somebody, like, you'll have a better luck. And like, and I think that's what I like, when people are open to that and make friends at shows. Because I just know how many like friends I've made from shows. So I still remember, like, I delivered tickets to Bernice one time. Like, I don't know where I found it, but I found like the text thread of that, and I'm just like, holy shit! I just showed up and didn't know, like, knew, and then now we're fucking best friends over here. What the fuck?
There's like, a lot of people where I try to think about how I met them, and the only time I can remember was like somehow we're already loosely friends at a venue.
Yeah.
Like John, I just remember seeing him at a Bro Job show at the Dirty 30. He was always super nice.
Oh, I know that show.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
I think that was one of the first times we all hung out, was at that fucking show with like Lunaform and Bro Job, and I don't remember who else was on that bill, but I just remember being there, and I was like, I went by myself because I was gonna go support Andrew.
Yeah, shout out Andrew.
I haven't talked to him in forever.
I've been seeing him do like vocal stuff again online, and I'm like, man.
What's his band now? I don't know if it's like a solo thing, but he does something now.
Starts with an A.
Oh, I didn't know.
He's okay. I don't know.
'Cause I remember the Lunaform stuff, and after that, I don't remember anything else after that.
It starts with an A, because he's had another project, and then he kind of took like a little bit of that hiatus again. And then he has another project. I haven't talked to him in years, though. I hope he's good. Like,
yeah, I hope so too.
Unileska. It's a Y.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know why I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You said A, and I locked in. I was like, A.
No.
Yeah. Because that's all him.
That's all him, right? That's a solo thing. Yeah. But he's been working that for a while. Yeah, that was a show. We became friends with him through Design of Destiny, right? I think when he was playing in that, and again, like just playing shows and just going to stuff is like we just started talking to people.
And
Yeah.
Daniel Gomez played guitar for him, so I like both of them. I was like, bro, they're both fucking solid musicians.
Just walk up
I was
to
like,
him.
This band's gonna be bad. And then they had
Your name's Daniel?
Trevor for a
My
while,
name's
yeah.
Daniel. Let's be friends.
sick fucking musicians, all of them. God damn it.
Yeah, and like
Talented.
favorite. Yeah, there's it's cool to have a lot of like to have actual like favorite bands that are from here. You know what I mean? It's that's really fucking sick. Like I already mentioned the Cherry Mantis album that I like had on repeat, but like stuff like I love fucking watching Golden Week like play like so much. I fell in love with them.
good.
They're so fucking good. Saint Blonde is fucking amazing.
You just read my mind. I was
Yeah.
like, nobody gets stuck in my head more than Saint Blonde.
Saint Blonde knows how to fucking write music. Like
This shit
catchy.
catchy. Bad Lives
Catchy.
too, though. Bad Lives is really
Bad
good at
Lives.
playing catch up. Catchy.
Jordan is fucking. I don't know how was that just pumping out music. You know what I mean? Like
Bro,
it just writes a
talented,
lot.
bro.
Yeah, super talented. Yeah, who else has been playing around here? Oh, I talk about Turf Burner so much, but Turf Burner is really
Turf Burner's
fucking
Turf Burner's
good.
really sick.
That you already talked about albums. That Dysmorphia, Drowned in Yasma,
Oh, I haven't heard that one yet.
fucking badass, bro. Everything they put out has been badass, but that album's badass too, or EP, I guess. I don't know, but man, people are just dropping so much good shit. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, fucking. I haven't heard it yet, but Belissa just dropped. But Translate Violence. I
Their Unity's
just know
whole
that's
thing
gonna be
too was fucking crazy.
Unity-
The Unity,
Unity's
yep,
was
that was
really
sick.
good.
For
Unity was
yeah.
the
I
tree
had to
show
work
was
that
fucking
day.
sick.
I
Like
fucking
it
worked
was
that day,
it was a
bro.
good moment to just see them. I'm like, yeah, dude, this is like them, and because I think they've been touring. I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
is this the first headline show that they kept saying that was that
This is their first headlining show back since they've been like doing all their
Right,
tours
right
and
since
stuff
everything.
like that.
So like. I love the fact that I got to see them like at such a like the Trees, you know what I mean? Trees is still
Yeah.
like it is a bigger venue, but it's still smaller. Like it's that middle like ground where I got to see the whole fucking show, hear everything in like it's so fucking great. You know what I mean?
It's the growth of like, you would see them play bang shit, at Tomcats opening for Spite, and then next thing you know, they're playing like sold out shows with Silverstein, and then they're on tour with, whoever the hell else they're on. They've gone on so many this year alone that like it's hard to
yeah.
keep track of all of them. But
One of those with the right recipe and just a shitload of determination, like they can get it done.
Yeah.
It's possible.
They've worked hard. I mean, I had a talk with Jonathan not too long ago, and it's just like work, like constant work. But which is why when you see like them play shows like that, it's like, yeah, they fucking earn that. I don't think there's anyone that's saying like, oh, Unity shouldn't be doing like the shit that
Yeah,
they're
what the
doing. Like
fuck?
there's no one that can fucking say that.
for you to
which is
get to
fucking
that
cool.
level, you have to be calculated and putting full time effort in. You can't.
Well, Jay's been in for like
Jay-
10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay's knows what he's fucking what he wanted, and he's went for it, and he's not quitting. It's the right mentality.
Fucking
Yeah.
trust the process, has a fucking vision. Like that's really cool to see, and like just from the outside, you know what I mean, just like like see it, and then just the way when they played the show, they just looked like they were having the fucking time of their life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's again, it's one of my favorite things to see all the time is like a band play and feel like they love fucking playing out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like John's one of those. Like anytime I see John play the drums, like bro, I just know this is like the happiest he ever gets.
He's
is on that
smiling while
behind
he's
that
playing.
kit.
He's
You know what
over
I mean?
here hurting, and he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like him and Bryce, they just
Yeah.
motherfuckers, bro.
Yeah.
Happy drums,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Bryce.
Butler?
Yeah. Well, I think honestly, my favorite thing about all of them is it's like not only are you watching the come up, but like being able to watch the come up for them is proof that you can do it too, though. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like just seeing them go from all these different phases into where they're at now, it's just like, one, I love that they're also not ashamed to show their growth. Like they're not ashamed to be like, yeah, we started off doing this and we started off doing this. Because some people like to flex and hide that shit. They like to act
it was
yeah.
like this from the get go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Are you
some
sure,
people,
bitch?
some people like to act like they've had it from the start, and they're not. I feel like a lot of them, they're not afraid to be like, nah, this is what we started off doing, and this is how we've grown. And I think that that's really cool to be able to see from anybody, because then it's like, hey, you're seeing them do it, and it's proof that you're able to do it too. Like if you're able
Yeah.
to put the work in, you're able to put the time, the dedication, and to do it, you're able to do it too. And I think that's one of the coolest things about watching somebody start off from something so like just an idea in his basement into where they're at now, where they're headlining Trees, Like, I think that's a really cool and special thing to be able to see, even from, like, just a friend standpoint. Not even
Yeah.
just, like, a fan standpoint. A friend standpoint, seeing the evolution of what they're doing.
And
I think-
I like the friend aspect, but I do like the fact that I do have a fan aspect that I'm just like, oh, this shit is really fucking good. Like I've brought that up to like a lot of bands like on the podcast and be like, yeah, like you want support like from your friends and stuff like that, but you need fans. Like you need people that fucking just love you for your actual like art that you put out. So if it's music, music that need to fuck with it hard as fuck. And like seeing like their reactions on tours, seeing like the crowd that they've had, like the interactions with the crowd, I'm like, yes, like that's what you need. Like you need people who know those fucking words, who are gonna fucking do crazy shit at the shows, who are gonna, you know, support you because they enjoy like what you put out. And I think they've got a great balance of both. Like they have a hometown love along with like now recognition across like internationally now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely ones that have been amazing. I mean, that album was fucking sick, fucking really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, future for NoiseROT now.
We talked about concepts earlier. We kind of segued from that, but the Noise Night. I think I like the Rot Swap focus that we've been going on. I love that we have Riker kind of bridging that gap between worlds of like Americana and like even like the pop punk kids and stuff like that. And doing, I want to do like a little bit more like full production stuff with it, which we haven't really got to sit down in a while. I've been brainstorming. I've been writing shit down. I've been trying to figure out what we took from the first year. And I know we've talked about incorporating some sort of open mic, kind of pre-show to the actual event. I think that concept is really cool. I mean, we have our Chill Sounds concept. Help me out here. What are you thinking?
One thing I'm excited for was something I started dabbling a little bit last year was because I enjoy doing the podcast, but there's like a lot of artists that we get opportunities to work with, and even not even just for our shows, just coming by in general.
Yeah.
But going out and doing like I guess more concise interviews with them has been like really fun.
Because we got the most recent one. Yeah.
I guess officially like it will be out maybe before this comes out, but I got a chance to talk to David and the band Sonny Bronco, which was literally technically the first touring band that we ever had play our show. And he's kept in contact for 2 years.
Super
sweet guy.
You're so nice, though.
David, you're amazing. We have the record up there. I don't know if you see it behind it. But super sweet guy. Kept in touch with us. He was on tour with he was just on tour with Andrew Wells, with Sergio Medina, which is Sergio Medina? Yeah, Medina. Which is his brother. And then they toured and they did full band, and the live show like was really fucking sick. It looks like the lineup, like I talked to everybody and like everybody's like seems like a really like cool.
I missed the opener. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Do you remember the name?
Chimney something? I'm sorry, bro.
I can't remember.
But I wanted to catch him because I heard him soundcheck and I was like, oh, I want to see what's going on here. But then we were getting set up. And
yeah. But yeah, that's a concept I'd like to do a little bit more of, just to bring, because again, with the community and connections and stuff that we've made in the past 2 years, I realize how accessible that is to me. I'm like, it's not out of the realm to just ask people and be like, hey, do you want to do this? I feel like I've gathered equipment wise, like I have like what I need to get it done.
Yeah.
And then one thing, and then like one of the compliments that I've gotten this year that I do hold like really dear to my heart is people have said that like I make them feel comfortable like when they're talking about, and like the guitar player for Sonny Bronco said that, and I've never met that dude, and I'm just like, he's like, yeah, like you make, and I'm like, okay, that's what my whole goal is with that, and
exactly.
like I'm like, okay, I have these skills and like the resources for it, like why not try to reach out and just make more shit? Like I just want to make more cool stuff for people to enjoy. You know what I mean? Cool. Again, if people are afraid to come up to those artists and like talk to them and stuff like that, you know, like, okay, you can watch a fucking interview. I just know that that's what I enjoyed. Like when I was,
you can tune in. Then I'll go do it.
Yeah, I'll go do it. Like you can tell me what to ask, I'll tell them. But I know I used to eat that shit up if there was a band that I fucking loved. I watched every fucking interview that they did, every acoustic session, every goddamn tour bus thing.
I used to like the rig rundowns. I used to like the van invasions and stuff like that.
Like
is that what it's called? Right.
It's it's like the van invasions
like
thing.
Learn about like their tour life and all that stuff. I always thought that shit was cool.
Yeah, all that stuff is stuff that I used to like. Again, if there was a band that I like, I ate all this shit up. You know what I mean? So that's why like when podcasts for artists like started getting really big, I'm like, that's fucking cool. You mean I can sit down here and listen to my favorite artist talk for like an hour, 2 hours, whatever. And it's just about like, you know, whether it's like about music stuff, yeah, you start learning more about like what they're putting out, how they write stuff. Yeah, all that shit I ate up. So I'm like, that's how I approach like what I make is like, what stuff do I find entertaining, or what stuff do I want to like learn about? So I want to do more of that, and I think like reaching out and doing some. I got a few ideas in the works for like this year, but there'll definitely be more like extra. Like maybe more like interview content along with more crowd stuff, because the crowd stuff has been fun. Like Bernice and I, like we've been having a fucking good time, like just talking to people.
Man, I want to get a Bill Murray level of ridiculous with their content though, because their shit is so funny and so well done. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's
like
hilarious.
they're one of my favorites to watch. What they do with creating content and ads and stuff for their singles or their merch or whatever they do, and that's just like one of those ones where I'm like, man, I want to have that much fucking fun doing stuff. Like, you know, it's just so out there that because they don't take themselves too serious, and I just love that. Like,
which is what I think like at the heart. So we have a video that's going to come out probably this week, so it'll be before this comes out. And I put out one which is like the professional one, which is like I guess it was like the album of the year one. And then we have one. I was like, you know, it'd be funny. Let's ask people their hot takes, and people got wild with it. People got fucking so fast. Like some of them were like, okay, like, whatever. And then someone's like, hold on, what are you saying?
Some of them we had to take the mic and be like, you know what, you wrong.
But some of those, again, it's bringing fun to like these events. Like it's what I like enjoy. I'm like, yes, like these are conversations that you would just have if you went to those shows. You know what I mean? And it's just, again, it's making sure that people know that the show is more than music. It's community, I think, is what I really like pushing.
I think that's what we've been missing since since post-pandemic as well. Because even just like the whole show dynamic, I feel like has switched since the pandemic too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, and not in like necessarily a negative way, but I think that the community feeling from it is gone. You know,
to a degree,
like to a degree, it's like not as like heavy as what it used to be. Because again, you used to go to like the Door or the Profit Bar, and you would know most of the people there.
You used to go to shows just to hang with your friends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then you'd catch a show and be like, oh shit, cool. You'd maybe find a band or two you like, but
and that's not to say that people aren't having that, but I do agree. I think it's just a different evolution.
It's a different, yeah. I mean, and you can't necessarily go back to that, but it's like, how do we capture the greatest part of that and bring it to what we have now?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not like I'm definitely not gonna be like, oh, it's like we gotta go back to the old days, this and that, blah blah. Because like there was shit in the old days that I didn't like either. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I experienced a lot more, like, not personally, but like heard a lot more like just shit talking, just like someone trying to be better than someone else, and like bands, and which is like does not make sense to me at all. Like, how the fuck you gonna gauge that? Like, why?
Stage, bro.
Like, if you're fucking worried about you being better than me, like, you're worried about the wrong things. Like, bro, focus on that music. But I think now I've felt a little bit more community, again, myself personally, in what I've been dealt with. But I would like to, because I enjoy that so much, is why I want to bring it to more people. Like, why I want more people to experience it. And I think that's one of the big things that I would like to focus on. But yeah, like definitely more content building on my end. I enjoy that shit. So I think we're gonna do that.
I want to do more this year if possible of the Raw to Root sessions. They're fun. I think they're cool as fuck, and kind of like how you're feeling when you get to talk with some of your favorite artists. I get to like see them play, and then I get to kind of ask a little bit of the things that I have in the back of my mind. Like, one of the ones I like is the Matchstick Ghost one that we did. So I got to kind of like dig deep a little bit more. And it helps when they have the answers to those questions, because sometimes you may get asked a question like, oh, I didn't really think much about that, you know. But some people are like, no, I'll give you every synopsis on this whole song. Like, I know exactly. I think that's fun. Like, that's the stuff that really like I get a kick out of. And I like to do more. Let's do a lot more, and there's a list, and I'll get to it. There's a list of people who are down, and I want to get to it.
Who did we have on a Rock Swap? They did very heavy The Cure influence.
Oh, the guy that had
Goolsby?
No, he had what's his name?
Brandon?
Was it Sam? No.
Brandon Sanders?
I think that's his name. He had like an actual
Loyal Nothing?
Pad thing, right? Yeah, Loyal Nothing. Yeah. That was cool.
That's somebody you need to have on there more.
Yeah, homie's cool. Homie's cool as fuck.
Yeah, we had a lot of... Y'all need to come to Rot Swap. First of all, hold on. I'm gonna go on a rank here. First of all, I'm gonna let you. What is Rot Swap?
Rot swap is a song swap. Is the technical term. It's made popular in like Texas and like Tennessee. They have what's called like Writers Round and stuff like that. But our version is an open genre song swap. So basically, if you're in a band, you would play unplugged. It would be the technical term. Or if you're a songwriter, they're used to maybe an open mic, or maybe they get put on a show opening up for, and this is hyperbole, but like a Josh Hurway walk or something like that. But the idea is I like multi-genre stuff in general, and I like how I've seen like a metal guy play an acoustic set that he normally hasn't played. So we just kind of bridged that gap and said, let's get you to come out, share the stage with a couple other cats. You get to play your songs in a more intimate setting. It's free, and it's cool. And with Riker hosting it, and he gets to kind of like the interview portion, he gets the stories out of people, and you get to learn more about the artist. And sometimes they're just silly. Sometimes they're just silly as fuck, bro. Like the one we did, it was early in the year with Dakota and Born Out of Love, Jacob Hedke and from Pain of Light, and oh wow, I'm so sorry.
Said the people.
It wasn't Colton. It was
Colton.
Logan.
Yeah, no.
Was it Colton?
Colton was on that one.
Because Logan was like in the
Logan was
early
early one. Yeah.
But having them was fucking great, and each one is so different. And I do specifically kind of like tailor it because I'm like, oh, I like this guy's music, or I like this person's music, or this guy's really funny, and I think he's really funny. Like they'll get along, and it's really cool to see it happen.
Yeah.
It's been tight, and I think y'all should come out.
You should come out to Rot.
It's so cool.
Basically, it's literally like 4 people up there. Mm-hmm. Riker's hosting, 3 other people normally, and then multi-genre, just unplugged sessions, and they're talking about these songs, how they wrote it, what was the inspiration writing them, or they riff off of each other. It was like, oh, you played one that's about this, I got one about that. Let's do that.
Like some of the other cool shit, like Clayton from the band Laredo was like adding leads onto like Eddie Essler's songs and like onto Riker's songs, and Jacob Richardson, and it's cool to see like the musician aspect of it too, where it's like, bro, play anything and I'm gonna support you in it, and like that shit's cool. Yeah, like it's fucking, I don't know, it's badass.
I've had some great experiences at those Rot stops, like because luckily like that's the one I don't have to work a door or anything like that. Get to chill. So I get to watch these shows as a spectator, and dang old fucking Busey, man.
Busey, bro. Josh is so good, bro.
Josh Busey was literally a guy I'd never heard play before. He shows up and plays, and I'm sitting there, and I'm fucking crying, dude. During and I remember the song Mosaic is the name of the song. And I was like tearing up. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I've never heard this song. I'm hearing the words for the first time, and I'm having a fucking emotional connection here, like to this artist that again.
It's a sad song,
it's the purest way to experience music. Like for the first time, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking great.
It's an honest song.
And I love that we are doing this and giving people the chance to just come out again for free to just enjoy music. Yeah. Like it's because we love this shit so much that we're like, we wanted to make sure we had a concept that we're like, hey, show up. Times are definitely fucking tough. Like I'm sure everyone's experiencing that shit right now. Which is why, like, if you
trust us and come out to a free event where you can see a cool show. Yeah. Now, given I want to work it into like more weekends if possible and stuff like that. And we haven't solidified it, but like we've done a few of the live streaming, and I want to make that more of a staple, especially if we're going to include this open mic concept that we've kind of tossed back and forth on it. Which also, shout out Lewis, always fucking holding it down for us. Fucking Crooked Tooth Studios. Bro, you do so much work. But we're about to go and you're super chill.
Lewis, Crooked Tooth, Chaz at Haltom Theater.
Chaz, fucking holding it down, bro. Fucking,
who's the guy from Tulips that was really nice? I keep calling him Charlie, but it's not Charlie. It's Jason, right?
Jason,
he's been really nice to us. Yeah, he's been really tight to us.
And then Charlie from Spoon's been awesome working with him on all the shows. I mean, he's helped us get stuff at like Andy's at Club Dada at Tulips. Everything Spoon does is fucking killer. Yeah. They got that fucking, is it not Stockfest? No Stockfest with Trauma Ray and
that.
That's just gonna be badass.
That's just gonna be fucking badass.
That's gonna be fucking cool. They do a lot of cool shit. Bro, there's a lot of people.
You know why I love that about us is that we like see all these other people and recognize like, oh, you're doing some cool shit. You know what I mean? Like when they have like a cool ass show, I'm just like, that show's badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I remember I didn't get to go to this show, but I remember like Die booked Like Roses, which is a band that I found like organically, and I'm like, holy shit, you guys got them? Like that's fucking awesome. Like I was so fucking stoked for them. You know what I mean?
I want to see the. I always say I want to go, and it just depends on my work schedule.
Yeah.
I'm really
For
confined
real.
in my work schedule. It's really rough, but
pain.
I do want to go to like the Galentine's show that Scorn's putting together, which is cool. New production company, Scorn
New
Productions,
production.
doing cool shit too. Like it's cool to see people doing good shit.
Yeah, I like that. You know, people are even reaching out to us and just being like, "Hey, questions about things." And I'm like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
we are starting to be able to offer that sort of
Yeah.
like help." You know, like to people who also want to do it. You know what I mean? Because like that's literally how we started.
Just
I was
ask
just
me.
asking questions
I'll-
and like fucking up and like
Bro,
just
yeah.
shooting shots. You know?
Exactly, and I mean, I'll answer most of their questions, but this one is like it's literally just like you said, just ask and see what happens. You know what I mean? Just knock on a few doors, see who answers. But like I'll answer. People will be like, "Oh, how do you book this show?" Or like even like sometimes it's recording, which I don't do often. Like I'm
Yeah.
not that good. I'm like, "Oh, this is what I would do." Blah blah. Like, bro, open book here. Just ask. Like we'll help you.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Literally, for the most part, like you'll find somebody who's like has an answer. It's like to a question, and it's really helpful because again, that's how we created this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just by asking stuff, learning stuff along the way, and just again wanting to meet more people doing
And
it.
intuition. There's been a lot of intuition. Like I think this would be cool. let's do that. That's what I would want to go see.
Sometimes we're wrong. It's fine.
Sometimes we're wrong.
Sometimes
It's
we're wrong.
okay.
It's okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we have a lot. I mean, I don't. You already announced this sort of. You've been teasing something. I don't know if you want to talk about
the rock swap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all year in 2023, what me and Lewis were doing is we were recording the live sessions. So we've recorded every single live session. So there's 12 sessions and there's like 4 songs a person. There's like a shitload of songs.
Yeah.
And so I've listened to every single song. And basically with all that said, like we are going to release a compilation album, a Rot Swap Live at the Post Volume 1. I've debated about if I want to continue it for this next year, but I do know for sure this Volume 1, I've gone through and I've picked what I think are some of the best songs from these artists in those sessions. Lewis tracked them. I've mixed and mastered them. I'm like on the last 4 songs. It's almost done. It's hard to break away and put time towards that, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest. But release that, and it's gonna be available for streaming. People, and it's again another way that I was like, how can I just give these people content, and I'm gonna say it this way, like breadcrumbs that lead them back to the artist. So.
Yeah.
That compilation is something I'm really proud of, and I'm really happy that everyone got to be on it. There is a disclaimer. There is one session that got corrupted, so it didn't come through. So I am sorry about that one. Technical
Fine.
issues. I know.
It's fine.
Yeah. But it's really sick. It's all acoustic, and if no one has any idea what a rock swap is, they can listen to it and understand like, oh, this is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got a little bit of funny stuff in there when they're talking back and forth. It's really cool. It's something I'm really
Easy
proud of.
listening, man. Put it on
Yeah.
while you cook, while you
Yeah,
clean.
bro.
You're just driving and wanting to chill during, road rage hours.
During road
rage.
I need to calm
To keep you down. Yeah. Hell yeah.
The Light You Have Inside by Jacob Robertson, that calms me down.
Hey,
that one's good.
that's a good
Bro, god damn it. It's so good. I've been listening to that compilation on my own personal
Yeah.
time, and it's really nice. And I'm like, I hope people like it as much as I do too.
Yeah, I think people will definitely.
Compilation
It's
album.
a lot of the Rot Swap, hosted by Riker Hall, Volume 1 compilation
Bro,
album
and
at the Post.
I'm so happy he stuck it out with us because I was kind of nervous. I was like, "Do you want to do it another year? Like, we got a whole like, I think you're the fucking guy for this." And he was like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, bro, let's do it." And I was like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, dude." And, oh man, and I was talking to him. And this is kind of a segue, but I was talking. I was like, "Bro, like we've just been working. We need to hang out." Like,
Yeah.
it was like he's tied away with his job.
Yeah.
I'm tied away with my job. Like I never got to see him. We've kind of mentioned this. I haven't got to like see Cody and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I gotta go fucking see my friends. So I made it a point this past week. I was like kind of reevaluating how the year went, what I've been doing. And I was like, I'm gonna find a way to put more time towards myself. Not even just like I have ambitions to do like like vocal cover, drum cover stuff, and blah blah blah. Like, no, something that's just not music. Something that's not NoiseROT or something that's not post. Like, I just want to go do me for a little bit.
You need leisure, man.
It's hard.
Yeah, you have not given yourself leisure. This is an intervention. You need a fucking.
We didn't even hit like record on this.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. Yeah. I just knew it would take an hour and a half of talking NoiseROT before you would ever get to this point. All right, so
can we get weird and deep for a second?
Go for it.
No.
Oh shit.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I think it was a good sign. It was weird. So I woke up crying this morning.
This is a fucking literal cry for help.
No, it was. I don't know. It was a weird dream. It was this weird dream. Have you watched on YouTube? There's a show called The Digital Circus. But anyways, there was like a similar vibe of how that thing is laid out for those who picture shit with their brain the way I do. But like at one point there was like an escalator, and I kept trying to get up to the top of the escalator, and every time I'd get to the top, it would like bring me back down. It did it like 4 times. Like, what the fuck? And I was frustrated in the dream. And then there was like shows going on, and I'm gonna name drop them, but there was like a band. It was Cold Case was playing, and they were like waiting on something. I was like, I'll figure it out. Give me 1 second. I went to go figure it out, and then I got stuck behind the bar for some reason. And I was like, fuck. And then they packed up and left, and so I was like, oh, I gotta go tell everyone. There was like a whole bunch of people in the dream that were there for the show, and I'm like, sorry, our show's canceled. And then they were all upset. Then the bar was upset. Then the bands were upset, and everyone was like upset with me. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, how do I make this shit work? And so the dream, it's a dream, you know. I'm not gonna try to make too much sense of it, but like I crashed a golf cart, I crashed a bunch of shit. The building like was gone, like a bunch of shit happened, and at the end I'm getting taken to jail for some reason. Straight to jail. And these 2 guys were like, and I was like, I don't get it. And in my dream, I just remember saying, like, it just hurts, man. I just want to provide. I want to give. And I go, and it feels like a part of my soul is just being carved out because, like, I can't. Like, I keep getting pulled back, and I just can't provide. And then I woke up, like, just, like, sobbing, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I just sat there, and it was good, but I feel like sometimes I need to, like, figure out how to, like, just be there for myself a little bit more so.
Yeah.
I think your subconscious is telling you that, 1, you can't please everybody, and 2, no matter how much you fucking try to, it's impossible. Especially with how many different hats you wear between being, like, you know, a bartender, a bar manager, doing NoiseROT stuff, doing whatever recording and editing you're doing.
Trying to be there for my family.
Yeah, it's a lot of... How can I make sure everybody else is happy while simultaneously not making sure that you're good? So when everybody in your dream is mad at you, it's because you can't, like you said yourself, you cannot deliver. But at the same time, you can't make everybody fucking happy, dude.
And that's
like,
true. And I feel like I know that.
It's like an escalator, dude. Like, that's the whole reason you got it. Because you're starting up, you get to the top, and they drop you right back to the bottom.
You're putting yourself last.
Yeah, like you're...
Like, absolutely last. Like, it is...
You're never going to reach the top that way. Like, you're always going to be overwhelmed thinking of what to do next. Instead of just being like, I'm here.
It was an emotional morning. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I woke up and I'm like, this is how my year's going to start.
I think truly, yeah, like, there is... You've been doing a lot, and it's great. But I think you've lost that in the bigger part of the year, like this last year, is like just taking that time for yourself to do shit that you like to do, and not even shit that you.
I don't think there's much I like to do
because you haven't done it. Like you haven't done it. I mean, like going to a show leisurely and having fun.
Sure, you know, outside of music, I don't do much. Huh? You know what I mean? I don't game. I don't. Bike ride.
Let me ask you something.
Like, you used to have lunch and shit with people.
Yeah.
When was the last time you went out and ate like something with like one of your friends? Like, when was the last time?
Me and Jacob went out.
Huh?
Me and Jacob went out. We went to go have lunch at Press.
Did y'all talk about post shit?
No. Actually, no. We went to go hang out because we had some downtime, and because I was doing inventory and he was doing something there, and we were done. And I was like, "Hey, you want to go get?"
I was like, me, it's not, man. You got to plan something.
Okay.
When was the last time you planned something?
Plan something? I mean, I know, like, Chase.
Because that's out of convenience.
Like, hey, let's hang out. And I'm like, I'll try. And then I never follow through. Like, Che, you can be mad at me. It's true. But, like, Che was like, the last time we hung out was almost a year ago. And they're like, we need to hang out before the end of the year. We never did. I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, damn, that sucks. Yeah. Or even, like, I won't make this
without getting, too
low. But I acknowledge, like, there's things that I should probably change out of my habits. And
If
get
all these
my shit
people
together, because there's a lot of shit to
business-wise-
get together, like that window.
If all these people business-wise are mad at you, who is making sure you're straight? I'm just asking, like, metaphorically speaking, if everybody,
heard.
you know, business-wise, if people are mad at you, who, at the end of the day, who is making sure you're straight?
I mean, normally it's me. Shit.
But are you
I mean,
actually
y'all-
making sure you're straight?
I mean, I give myself leisure.
Sleep is
No,
not
but I know what you're
sleep more
saying.
than sleep.
Not really anything. No. I mean, like my mom will check in, my dad will check in, but that's pretty much most of the extent of it.
So it's definitely
Casey
taking
will
more
check
time.
in. Y'all check in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think it's definitely taking more time, you know, because everybody wants to be super business focused. And I think that's part of, like, you know, society's grind culture, where if you're not every single second of your day doing something, then you're not doing anything.
I'm taking the training wheels off of this hoe. But also with that said, like, and everybody's situation is different. But when I find something that I'm passionate about, like, I've pretty much full ass it, whether it was being in a band, or, you know, learning how to be a bartender because I want to own a venue and I want to know what these challenges are so I can be better at it. With starting this, I'm like, bro, there's a lot of work to get done. There's a lot of shit to do. You know what I mean? And I'm not afraid of it. You know what I mean? But I also need to figure out, this is where I'm at, the crossroads of, like, okay, you gotta find that life balance, that life work balance of what,
Put your whole ass in that.
you know what I'm saying? And like y'all said, like, putting myself last, like, full assing, putting myself first. You know what I mean? Like, figuring that balance. And it's just a newer concept to me. I mean, my mom's always told me the same thing. Like, you always put everyone before yourself. It's just your nature. And she makes it sound like it's not a bad thing. But I've seen some of the bad things of it. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I do gotta take a step back sometimes.
I think for you, you're also a perfectionist, so every last detail needs to be.
I'm a Virgo, thank you.
I didn't want to say that, but was actually what I was thinking was how meticulous you are, even down to, like, the spreadsheets and shit we have. Like,
Hey,
whenever
they
we
appreciate it.
No, and
I think they appreciate
it. It is appreciated.
People
but,
like knowing what
we-
time they should load in.
Yeah, but it's like
Not day
you
of.
can see the level of OCD and, like, meticulous. Like, every last T needs to be crossed, every last I needs to be dot, every last punctuation mark needs to be there, and triple check. You know, like, you can see where you are super meticulous and on top of everything. You know, it's not a bad thing.
I've tried to, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I've tried to be more in the backseat the last couple of months, where I was like, not stressing about, like, oh, we need to get this done. Like, we'll get it done. I know it's going to get done now. I'm not too worried about it. So I'm trying to relax.
I think it was really, like, you know, going into our third year, year one was just trial and error. I think this past year with 2023, everybody's kind of found their stride in what they need to be doing.
And that's what I'm excited for this year, because I'm like, okay, I think we've got everything fine-tuned. I think, like, this year we can, like, foundation of, like, this is what we're going to do.
As far as a foundation, everyone should know, like, what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, what their strengths are and what they're doing. And everything else is just, like, extra.
And I know this is, like, the team, like, the immediate team. I go, but we have, like, support from other companies and friends that do their own shit. Again, someone like Lewis or someone like Chaz who help us out with the technical aspect of live streaming or provide us with a sick venue to work with. Like, there's people who support what we're doing. Yeah. And then we're able to support them by bringing people out or bringing them business, whether it be, you know, where we pay them for their service or we bring in X amount of people, whatever have you. Like, it's this team is solid, and then the people around us are solid. Like, it's
we have a good support system, which I feel like we've earned. You know what I mean? Like, because we've been doing cool shit and doing it with
good
the
work.
most
good clean work.
Clean work with the best, like, of fucking intentions, and we follow through on like those intentions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we've been pretty good about, like, not biting off more than we could chew. I mean, Chill Sounds was a lot more than we could chew. But that was part of the learning experience. But I think, like, in general, like, we understand, like, oh, this is what we're capable of. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you, oh, I'm gonna do this, and that. I'm like, oh, when I can't. You know? I'm like, oh, this is what I can do. And they're like, you can't do more. I'm like, I can't. This is what I can do.
So you just heard that really deep moment from TJ. So the least you could fucking do is go to a fucking show before this man dies. Okay? So the least you can fucking do, all right?
No, I saved it for this. I wanted to talk about it. Oh, it was a weird dream. But, like, topping it off, like, in the ending of that session, of that little crying session, like, it was, like, completely silent in the house. The light was shining in from the window, and I was like, this feels good. This feels nice, and I'm not afraid to cry. Like that doesn't like scare me and shit like that. Like, I cry more often than not, if I'm being honest. Like I know what brings me that release. But there was something different about it this morning. I was like, okay, I think my head's on right. Like even doing this, I'm like, I feel like my head's on right. I think I know.
Got an epiphany over there.
Type shit. Yeah. It's crazy. Damn. It's crazy. It's not to be ignored.
Well, I'm gonna wrap this up, but I'm gonna tell you about my dream.
Okay.
I had a baby, and my best friend was Shaq.
Okay.
That was.
I had a baby, and my best friend was Shaq.
Yep. That was. I don't know the context, so maybe on the podcast he is a musician now.
Manifesting.
He's fucking
he played Panther Island.
Yeah, that's all happening.
Coming for you, Shaq.
Coming. I just get to wrap it up. I think this year is going to be really fucking cool. I think, like you're saying, we're all hitting our strides in what we need to do, what we are good at, what we enjoy doing. Every year is going to bring new learning, new lessons that we're going to fuck up still. And it's something that I think we're not afraid of. Because we know, like, we get through it. You know what I mean? Like, we got through, like, this year, and I think this is, the team, like, we've been doing good together. We've been learning from each other. Just, like, again, like that, just being more open to, like, each other and talking to each other more, which is important. Sometimes we get wrapped up in just work. And it's like, that's just the step back.
Personal life. I mean, we've all had quite some stuff happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ain't that fucking true?
Yeah. Fucking wrecked a car, man.
I'm a plug. Follow NoiseROT.
Go for it.
It's all social media is just at NoiseROT. Follow our YouTube channel at NoiseROT. Specifically, that's our NoiseROT TV, which hosts the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast, the Raw to Root sessions. Soon we'll also be doing more consistent Raw Swap live streams. We have the reoccurring Raw Swap once a month. It's normally every third Monday. It's free at the post.
Free.
It's free as fuck, bro. Fucking go. I think we'll do the Noise Night quarterly. We'll find out more about that. We're offering the NoiseROT backline service. So if you have a festival, if you got shit and you may need, your life to be a little bit easier, you hire us. So I'll give you a quote. We have plenty of fucking good decently professional gear. I'm gonna give it that disclaimer. It's not completely pro.
It'll get the job done.
Get the job
okay?
fucking done, bro. I'm here to help. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
We're not pulling up with the JBL speaker.
No, bro. We got Chill Sounds coming in late. I'll say late 2024. We'll just say late 2024. That's all that you need. That's all y'all need to know.
That's all you get. That's all you get. Yeah, we have a lot of fucking cool shit. So fuck with us before they all start fucking with us. But even then, you can come by. I don't give a fuck. Whatever level this is going to, like, just come hang out. Have a fun time. If we don't like us, you'll find someone cool at the show. Like, but
you don't like us to like the show.
Yeah, the show is the main star is what we like to do. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is 92 episodes, so that's fucking cool. And I think we're gonna do a shit ton more this year. And yeah, I appreciate everybody who's ever watched one of these, listened to these, shared anything. I am just trying to show people how cool this fucking community is. Keep in tune with us. We got some cool shows coming up that haven't been announced yet too. Some secret ones.
We'll announce one in about a week. Yeah, there's a cool one that's later. Yeah, there's a lot of cool shit that we've already booked that we can't talk about just yet.
But 2024 is gonna be fucking sick. It's gonna be really fucking cool. So I have been OC.
I'm DJ.
Bernice,
aka Burn, the Burn Notice.
The Burn Notice.
Look out for the Burn Notice 2024. Notice. That's all I'm gonna leave here. The Burn Notice is coming at you. You have to guess what it is. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This has been episode 92 with NoiseROT, the Noise Republic of Texas. We'll see you next time.
Later.
Chill Sounds and Breakdowns.
Run away together while we still can.